Welcome, Klipspringers, to Klipspringer 2022. If you're like me, you'll be feeling a bit like we're living in the Old Testament, where we've got plagues and now floods, and when you get here and you see these incredibly nasty looking armored crickets everywhere, you'll see locusts as well. But we've got trail running, and they didn't have that, so it's all good. One of the good things to come out of the whole COVID experience, I think, was the advent of virtual race briefings. It's a great format. Although we do lose a little bit of the personal touch and interaction and the fun, it does give us a chance to be more concise, be more efficient, be more comprehensive. And it gives the runners more of a chance to actually listen to the important information in their own time, to replay what they missed, to go back and recheck things like that, and not have to sit there and pretend to concentrate while everyone is kind of off on their phone making jokes, listening to a race organizer trying to sound professional. So this is a great format. Keep this, refer back to it when you can't think of anything. Watch it while you're driving tomorrow. Hopefully not while you're driving. Your partner can hold it and show it to you while you drive safe. But yeah, here we go. Race briefing for Klipspringer 2022. The first thing is we're not repeating all the information that we've already spent so much time putting out there. So please refer back to your pre-race briefing emails. Almost all the information that you will need is there, and also the race info section on the website. Don't forget to refer back to the information that is already out there. I don't need to sit here and spend another half an hour of your time repeating what we've already put out there. We will repeat a couple of things. Registration is Friday, the 29th of April at 3 o'clock and runs through till 6 o'clock at the conference center just outside the reception of the national park. Easy to find, easy setup. Luckily, we don't need to wear our masks all the time anymore, but where we do have an indoor environment, like for example inside at registration or inside at reception at the park checking in or something like that, please just be aware of the fact that the virus is still out there. We are looking like going through a fifth wave, but we're okay, we're strong, we wear masks inside, we'll social distance in queues, and we carry on. The start times, repeating that, is 7 o'clock for the challenge on both Saturday and Sunday morning, and 7:30 for the light on both Saturdays and Sunday mornings. For those who absolutely can't make it to the park on Friday afternoon to register, we do have a small registration facility option where you can register at the start before your race. So that will be from 6 o'clock on either Saturday morning or Sunday morning. If you do still have to register, please give yourself some extra time to get there to make sure that the registration all happens seamlessly. If there are any queries after this race briefing, if people want to ask anything, that's one thing we do lose with the virtual format, but feel free to WhatsApp me, Warren, on 083 449 4113. I will repeat that at the end, but feel free to WhatsApp me or email me with any questions that anybody has. An important note about the start procedure on Saturday and on Sunday: your race numbers have tear-off slips that you will be able to tear off before the race and put into a container at your start. Please, please, please don't underestimate the importance of this. This is our final control. We control who is out there in the field, in the desert, by virtue of finding that tear-off slip in that box. If your tear-off slip is not in that box, we don't think that you're out there, and if you don't come back, we're not going to go look for you. So please, please, those tear-off slips, they're already pre-populated with your name. If you are a late entry and you don't have a pre-populated, pre-named race number, you will write your name in the space provided in the tear-off slip and put that in the box. More information, that is repeating stuff again. Compulsory equipment. We're fortunate here in the desert in some respects in that we don't expect cold, wet, snowy weather. The mornings will be chilly, which is going to make for some lekker running, but it's going to be hot. And the most important compulsory requirement here is that nobody dies of thirst. You are required to carry water and water capacity, either 1.5 for the challenge or in some cases 1 liter for the light. Please refer back to race info for your compulsory requirements. Water and space blanket and a phone. You need to have a phone. Please make sure you've got that. We've never had bad experiences here at Klipspringer. People are adults, and by and large, nobody takes on the desert without water. But if anybody is found to be short of any item of compulsory equipment, we do have rules that we will apply, and there will be very little tolerance. The weather for the weekend is going to be great. Saturday is going to be wonderful for running. Sunday will be hot. So just take that into account. The marking, we will be using the same marking that we always have at Klipspringer, which is those wonderful orange ribbons that stand out and mark the trail so clearly and stick to those wonderful thorn bushes, so it makes life awful for the people who have to remove them at the end of the race. But there are ribbons throughout the trail. It's a comprehensively marked trail. Day 1 and day 2, start to finish, we have marked comprehensively with ribbons. Day 2 also includes the Green Sand Parks Klipspringer trail boards. There is a slight complication for the challenge runners, but I'll get to that now. For light runners and for both of you, you will see the Klipspringer trail boards as you go along, but don't rely on them 100%, especially this year, because for challenge runners there's a section that you do the hiking trail in reverse. So make sure that your first port of marking is the ribbons. So please make sure that you get that right. As I said, we've marked extensively and comprehensively. In some places I marked, it felt like I was putting cat's eyes in a highway. But at other places we've marked for adults. We call it adult marking, where there's a long straight section with a clear trail and there's very little option to deviate or get lost. There's no turn. That we don't feel the need to mark every 10 meters. So if you're going straight and there's a trail, we could have marked every 50, every 100 meters or so. We call it marking for adults. The second thing is that we always like to say, if you think you're lost, you probably are. And you will know. You'll get a feeling for the rhythm of the marking, and you'll get a sense if something's off, where you're feeling like you should be expecting markers and you're not getting markers. Don't carry on and blunder ahead. That's the fatal mistake of trail running when people get lost. Where you think you might be lost, stop, backtrack, go back to where you last saw your marker, and you will find the marker somewhere in the distance or just around the corner where you may have missed it. So go back. If you're lost, you probably are. Okay, checkpoints. You'll know where the checkpoints are by and large in terms of the information that we've put out on the race info page and in the pre-race emails. The checkpoint procedures are very important. We do have marshals at each checkpoint who will be responsible for ticking off your number on the list they have of people who have started. Here we go back to the importance of those tear-off slips. The procedure is you'll go past the checkpoint, you'll see the marshal. They will call out number 1, 2, 3, lekker, tick you off. If you don't hear that, or if you're not certain, or even just someone to make 100% sure, make sure that they've called you, that they've spotted your number, that they've called you, that they've ticked you off. What happens then is when the sweepers come past, who will identify themselves to the water table and the marshals, we will be able to check to see that everybody who started and who should have reached that checkpoint is now through that checkpoint. If you don't hear yourself being ticked off, we could think that you might not have made that checkpoint, and we might feel the need to come and look for you. So it would help if that doesn't happen. At the checkpoints, there will be water and Coke. We'll try as hard as we can to keep stuff cold. We'll go through a bucket loads of ice, but we'll do what we can. There'll be lots of snacks and goodies thanks to our wonderful partners, race partners and sponsors at McDonald's Transport and at Raisin South Africa. And give a shout out to these guys who wake up early, give a lot of themselves, of their time. The companies put in a lot, and they're standing out there in the heat making sure that you are fed and entertained and safe. So shout out again to McDonald's Transport of Uppington and Raisin South Africa. The water tables are self-carry water tables. We've specified this before. You will need to have something that you can pour your hydration into, either a bladder in your hydration pack or a soft flask or a hard flask. I've said even if you carry a, for example, Velpre water bottle. We're not fans of single-use plastic, but if you're carrying a used Velpre water bottle, it's by definition no longer single use, so I suppose that that's okay. We have cut-offs on both days. Please refer back to the previous information for details of the cut-offs. I don't need to say anything more about that, other than the principle that we apply for cut-offs is we're not there to be strict. We will apply them strictly, but we're there to actually make sure people can enjoy their day and have fun. Excuse me. In essence, the cut-offs are built around the principle of allowing you all day to be out there and to run. So just to make sure that no one is risked getting left out there in the dark. So they're very generous cut-offs. That being said, we will apply them strictly. If you miss the cut-off, you're not going to make the end, and then your continued presence on the trail is putting yourself and others at risk. A race organizer does also reserve the right to exercise some discretion. If you make a cutoff by a couple of minutes, but you're bleeding and and a whole lot of other things and glassy-eyed and can't speak your name, we might cut you off even if you have made the time. Okay. Something that is different is our day 2, our Sunday this year. Because of the high levels of water and what the Orange River is doing, I'm sitting here right now at Kamkiri looking out of the window at the river just bolting past. It's just incredible. You guys are in for a treat. But as you know, it's thrown us a couple of curveballs, and we have had to make adjustments to our routes on day 2 on the Sunday, which was the traditional Klipspringer hiking trail. If you hadn't seen it, I mentioned this in a communication previously. This is the first time ever that the park has had to close the trail because of the level of the water. The water has been high before, but it's never been as high as this as late into the year and into the winter season, which is when the Klipspringer Trail opens. So the Klipspringer Trail has never been closed because of the water. This is a first. There's a slight change to the start for those of you that knew it from before. The first couple of kilometers, which were very cool, pretty hard, boulder hopping over those great big river boulders, we can't go through there. There's too much water has come through, and there are too many sections that are just impassable and would be dangerous. So what we've done, we're starting in reverse the way that we would finish for the first couple of kilometers, all very well marked, and then it rejoins the Klipspringer trail, the traditional trail, a couple of kilometers later, all marked, and then you're back on track. For the light runners, your route is pretty much identical to how it's been. Don't rely on any old GPXs or tracks that you may have recorded. It is all marked, but your trail's pretty much identical. You'll run to the first water point, the spectacular one manned by McDonald's at Ararat. You'll carry on to Oranjecom, turn up the Oranjecom road, and then rejoin the trail heading back towards Moon Rock for a grey eye. That's my favorite run. I love that. For the challenge, there's quite a significant change. We've lost the river section. So I know from friends that there's a few people who will not be that unhappy that we've lost that river section, but like it or loathe it, we've lost it. So what happens, you will continue on the same trail. You will get to the water table at Ararat. You will continue to Oranjecom. At Oranjecom, there is a newish trail that will take you through the desert to Berghat, which would have been your checkpoint and water station after you came out the river in last year or previous versions. So now you're going to hit a part of the Swartranta route of the Klipspringer trail in reverse. So this is important. It's going to be well marked, but there's always a bit of a worry for me when you're going in reverse, because you will have been following the green Klipspringer trail signs in the right direction for the last while. Now you're going to be following them for a little while in reverse. So just be aware of that. Up until after Oranjecom and until Berghat, there will be a part of the trail where you'll be running the hiking trail in reverse. It is marked. You'll get to Berghat and then it will be fine. From Berghat, you'll head up south, a gradual uphill into the southern section and high ground of the park. You've got some spectacular views and some good running. And then eventually you'll be brought down, hit the road for a little bit, and you'll rejoin the light and the hiking trail where the two trails would have merged in previous years. So it's not complicated. I think we're quite pleased with the routes that we've come up with, and you're sure to enjoy them. Then after that, you'll head towards Moon Rock and you'll hit home. 8 stations for the challenge. 8 stations for the light are the same as they have been, so the same as in the information you've got. For the challenge, pretty much the same. Your first water station is at Ararat. Your third is at Moon Rock, so all the distances and everything there are applicable. But your middle station, we're calling it the Swartranta station, is going to be clearly marked, but it's going to be at approximately 23 or 24 kilometers from the start. So you do have an aid station and checkpoint in between Ararat and Moon Rock, about 23, 24 kilometers from the start. If we're correct, your route is slightly longer than it was previously, but also a fair bit easier because of not having to kill those brutal boulders in the river section. Okay, some trail etiquette. Withdrawals. If you withdraw, if you cut short, if you are pulled off or go off at a water station, please make sure that you notify the race organizers. Please phone the emergency number, which is my number on the race number, and just let us know that you are no longer on the trail. That is critical, because otherwise we're going to be coming and looking for you, and it's a big desert. We do have sweepers. We've got a great group of sweepers this year. We do like to mix and match the sweepers. We don't only have traditional back marker sweepers. We do have those, but we also have sweepers in the middle of the field who give us much more flexibility in case they're needed somewhere, or if the back sweeper needs to do something. So they'll identify themselves to you if they're running with you and enjoy their experience and their gees. If there's a problem, this is something that I learned from an experienced runner. If you have a problem, stay on the trail. Don't go off the trail. That is how we will pick you up. So people have been lost seriously and never found until it's too late because they'd gone to lie under a tree 10 meters off the trail. Please don't do that. If you need to lie under a tree, make sure you find a tree on the trail so people coming behind you will find you and will be able to help you. Similarly, if you need a toilet break and you need to go into the desert, take your bag off and leave it where you left the trail. And when you've finished your business and not made a mess, you will come back and pick your bag up. So if something happens to you out there doing your business, we know that that's where you left the trail. And people laugh, but it happens, and it can save a life. Emergency, there is cell phone signal on most of the routes. A fair bit of the route doesn't have signal, but if you don't have signal, you will always be able to climb up to higher ground where you've got clear line of sight and there is signal there. So in the event of an emergency, you will be able to get up high and make a call. I know maybe the person needing the emergency help is not going to be able to do that, but another runner or a sweeper will be able to just climb up high and get signal and call us, the race organizing crew, and the medics, the professional ER24 medics that we have at the race, and we'll be able to help you. Last couple of things: trail etiquette. Concentrate. This is a trail running skill, and we always have newbies and people who are new to trail running. One of the biggest requirements and demands of trail running is constant concentration. This year, please everybody remember this when you're running. Please be very careful to concentrate. The grass is long. There's grass where there wasn't grass before, and it's much harder to see your footing and to know for certain where your foot strike is going to be, especially where there's that grass growing between rocks and you think that you'll be okay to put your foot down there. Please don't take it for granted, because I've been out there and a lot of the time it's not. Also, where there's grass covering a rock, like if you put your foot down and it squashes some grass onto a rock, it makes the rock slippery. So please be aware of that. Please be extra careful this year. More trail etiquette. Take some time to appreciate the privilege that we have. Excuse me, to be out there. I always get a bit emotional when I think of that. And the people who can't be out there, and what an absolute privilege it is for us to be out there. On that note, please make sure that you don't litter. I know that trail runners don't litter, but even a little goop bag falls out of somebody's pocket or something, a tissue, just pick it up, put it in your pocket, if you have to drop it off at the aid station or when you get back. But it's such a wonderful thing running through this pristine environment, so let's keep it that way. And lastly, have fun and live the friendly spirit of the trail running community. I think we know why we're here, and it's a wonderful opportunity to kind of just be. Wear your shirts. Anatomic has once again surpassed themselves artistically and quality-wise with the most wonderful, memorable, unique trail shirts. Wear them on the trail as much as you can. They do make for great images. And in terms of images, we've got great photographers out there with some good cameras and video equipment and smiles, and they will be running around and covering the course. As always, smile, run, jump, do cartwheels for the photographers, and those are the pictures that we cherish and remember. That is it, Klipspringers. As I said, any questions or queries, please WhatsApp me on 083 449 4113, and we will see you at registration. Travel safely and look forward to having you in the desert.